Okay, we're going to render our cities. So if we open up the PDF that we have just scanned in, fantastic. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is change the mode of the document. Here it says bitmap and we can't work with that. So if we go image mode, we can change it to grayscale. And then image mode, we do that one more time and change it to CMYK for our laser printer. That means that we can print cyan, magenta, yellow and black, and they are the colours of our toners in the printer. Okay, so here we are ready to go. We're going to press C for crop. This crop tool gets selected and we're going to manually adjust the sides of our document so that it's a panorama view. Okay, so if you zoom in a little bit you can get it a little bit more accurate, but I'm just going to bring in the sides just so that all of the black lines need to be hitting the edge of the document. Otherwise, when you paint bucket, they will bleed outside of those lines. Just press enter when you're done and Control 0 will bring us back to that central view. Okay, so here we are ready to go. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is just touching up our document. So B for brush. If you hold down the brush icon, we're going to actually change it to the pencil tool. The pencil tool is less fuzzy than the brush. Left hand on the square brackets, we're going to change the size of our brush, make it a little bit bigger, and make sure that the color swatches in this bottom left hand corner are going to be either white or black. So I'm going to change that to white. And I'm just going to touch up these little black dots that have appeared on my document here. Now, similarly, I can fix some of the black lines as well. So if I change this white swatch to black and hit OK, I can zoom into my document by pressing Control++, and H for hand means I can navigate a hand tool around it. Here I could extend this line by pressing B for brush, making the brush small, clicking once and holding down Shift and clicking again will actually join the dots of my brush, my pencil tool. And just make sure that all those cavities are filled so that when I paint bucket them, it doesn't overflow. So you're just touching up any little lines that you need to. So a quick trick, is if you click once and hold down Shift, it will actually join the dots for you and you can make a few more changes if you wish. Also, if you click once and hold down Shift, you can click and drag and that'll do a straight line for you as well. So I'm just pressing Control Z when I want to undo. If I want to go back in time further, because I don't like something I've done, I can use the History panel. Now the History panel just allows you to go back in time. If you can't find your History panel, just go up to the window bar and select History here and that will bring it up for you. Okay, now we're going to look at the night sky or a daytime sky. The first one we'll do is a daytime view. So if we press W for magic wand or physically select the magic wand or quick selection tool, we need to select the sky. Make sure you've got all the bits of sky that you are wanting. So here I'm wanting to just select a little bit more. So if I press W from the magic wand, hold down Shift, I'm just going to add to that selection by selecting these little parts here that are just under that fence. If you make a mistake, just press Control Z. Okay, Control 0 just to go back to my full view. We're now going to use the gradient tool. So it's hiding underneath the paint bucket tool. Shortcut is G. Hold down the gradient tool. So for a daytime sky, we select the swatch that's in the bottom left hand corner and we're going to pick a nice kind of sky blue. I'm then going to choose a lighter sky blue. So come down to that second swatch and select a light blue here and press OK. I've got my two blues now. I can click and drag. That's how you create different gradients. You've got a few different options. You can do a linear gradient or you can do a radial gradient, and the sun would probably give off a bit of a radial gradient. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to leave it there. What I'm going to do now is add in the sun. So I need to go back to my brush tool which is under the pencil tool. So B for brush, select the brush tool, come up the top here, and I'm going to select a soft kind of looking brush. This one in the top left hand corner is good. Hardness is 0. It's going to be really soft and fuzzy, which is what I'm after for the sun. I'm going to select a nice pale yellow and come over here. I'm going to make my brush bigger by using the square brackets near the backspace bar. Okay, and I'm just going to gently click that a few times to get a bit of a soft sun happening in there. You could press Ctrl D. That is your summer day sky done. Now, if we want to do a night sky, I'm just going to come back to when I selected the sky. Night sky, I'm going to select some dark blues. It's best not to choose black. When it prints, it always comes out 10% darker. When it prints, it always prints out 10% darker than it looks on screen. So what I'm going to do is just change that second colour to another kind of dark blue. Okay, so here I'm going to drag the gradient tool in the sky again. I'm just going to increase that contrast a little bit more. I'm going to make that a little bit lighter. There we go. Okay, so let's say that we've got the moon, which is going to be our light source now. It's really important to have a light source in our document because it shows which side is going to be lighter and darker. If we have just a quick look at the rendering handout that we've just completed, we can see here the light source dictates which side of the building will be light and which will be dark. The closer you are to the light source where the sun is hitting, the lighter the colour will be, and it gets darker as it's further away because there's a shadow that would be cast on the right here. Similar with our gradients and of our sphere and our cylinder. Okay, so back to our Photoshop document. We're going to add the moon in now. So B for brush, making the tool a little bit small, the brush a little bit smaller with my square brackets. I'm going to select a nice light grey. I'm going to come over to the corner. I'm going to change the brush that I'm going to use again to a slightly harder brush. I'm going to pop it at about 80%, so it's a little bit harder but not quite as fuzzy as the sun. Okay, I'm going to click twice, and then what I'm going to do is create a bit of a crescent. So if I hit I for eyedropper tool, I'm going to get the colour that's next to the moon and press B for brush and gently just create a bit of a crescent moon here by selecting a few times. Here we have a moon on the left. Now I'm going to add in some stars, so I'm going to change my colour to a pale yellow. I'm going to change my brush to a star-shaped brush. So I've come back up to this little icon up here where you can select different brushes. You've got leaves, you've got grass, and what we're wanting to have is a star. So just above this leaf here, 33 will be fine. We are going to use that to create some stars. Now you can have stars that are all different shapes, and you can click all different amounts of kind of how yellow you want them to be. So I'm going to put a few stars in here. I'm going to put some bigger stars in as well. Think about where you're going to pop the stars and maybe cluster them together in a few different arrangements. Press Ctrl D to deselect. Here you have a night sky with some stars and a moon. Because you have a light source now, we're going to choose the moon as our light source. We can now begin to paint bucket our buildings. So G for gradient tool, I'm going to select the paint bucket tool that's here. I'm going to select a light colour here and just gently colour in the left side of this building. Now, if we want to make that a little bit darker for the right, we can either select another swatch, but it looks a little bit better if we go down to the bottom left-hand corner, select the existing colour and just manually make it a little bit darker. It'll be a similar tone and it'll just look that little bit darker, and we can go through and just add on. The right side of the building is darker and the left side is lighter because the left side is near our light source.